Happy day. I was thinking more about bad-mouthing baiters, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you. But first, thanks to all the patrons, Wiberian for the channel art, and Baron of Dice. Go check out Baron of Dice, use code MDG, and save 5% off your order. So, for those of you that aren't familiar, Badmouthing Baiters is a once per turn army in your shooting phase, so we're going to be able to use this 5 times. If our opponent goes first, we can't use it on their first turn. We have to use it on our turn, and then your opponent in round 2 will finally be able to you'll gain benefit from this ability on round 2. If you go first, you can do this before your opponent. Before your opponent's first turn, obviously, and then your opponent will get a chance to you'll actually get to use it on your opponent's first turn. So it's like you're gonna get to use it like 4.5 times roughly on average. Pick a friendly Cruel Boys unit to be the Insult Hurla. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches, nice long range, to be the target, then make a dirty trick roll. So it is a dirty trick. You have to make a dirty trick roll, which means you can fail it, and it does make your venom encrusted weapons, which is a lot stronger now because of Scumdrek, right? Because of this, Scumdrek is very strong. So using venom encrusted weapons in addition to extra dice is good, because yeah, like venom encrusted weapons got better. Maybe we'll make a video about that. Anyway, but it's better now. Fine. So it does increase your dirty trick die, right? So you're more likely to fail tricks later, which is a big downside. Okay, sorry, that was until the start of your next turn. Each time the target uses a move ability and does not end that move closer to the Insult Hurla than it was at the start of that move, inflict d6 mortal damage on the target after the move ability has been resolved. So I in my first analysis, I did make the error of run and charge. Like, there's more than just the move ability. There's lots of abilities that have the move keyword. So here's the examples, right? So the normal move has the move keyword. Run has the move keyword. Retreat has the move keyword. Charge has the move keyword. So there's a lot. So if like an enemy unit moves and then it runs and then charges, let's say they can run and charge, right? And then retreats, it's like there's multiple instances of D6 that can happen here. So move is not just like the move ability. There's multiple abilities that can be moved. Okay, sorry, so until the start of your next turn, each time the target uses a move ability and does not end the move closer to the Insult Hurler than it was at the start of the turn, inflict D6 mortal damage on the target after the move ability has been resolved. Okay, so, as we discussed previously in TTS, that you can have, like, moving closer to the enemy, moving closer to a unit doesn't mean that you have to, like, move in a straight line to the unit. So let's say, for example, that I want to take, let's just take something with a round base. We'll just take Gobsprack here. So this is a nice 18-inch ranged base. So let's say that Gobsprack is your Hurla, and then let's say that this Marsh Crawler is the enemy that you pick to be the target. So this is a closer move. This is closer than it was at the start. It doesn't mean that you have to move him in a straight line towards the guy. It just means you have to end closer. And so this is ending closer. That's not that useful. Right? It's not that useful. So people say, like, well, of course, Moss, you're not going to have a unit that's sitting, right at the front. What you're going to do is you're going to have a unit, like a small unit, like maybe I don't know, like a Merknob or like a unit of Hobgrots or something that you teleport into enemy lines in their back line, and then you use the ability on a unit. But again, even if you have a good position, like even if you're like way in the back, it's like if this guy's here, this is closer, right? So it's not that helpful, right? It's just not that helpful. However, so that was sort of my first sort of thought on this thing, but it's kind of evolved a little bit since then, because your opponent knows what they're doing. let's say that I take a relatively, like a standard, maybe like my prediction of what like a standard Cruel Boys list is going to look like. You know, it's like, okay, we got a Scumdrack, maybe we got some Bolt Boys, we got a Killbow, whatever we got. Like, I'm just trying to show that, like, you know, there's a fair number of models, that are on the table. Your opponent knows your abilities. You tell them your abilities. There's no secrets here. So all that your opponent has to do is zone you out. It's not that hard to be like, oh, you can only teleport within whatever. You have to be within 3 inches of terrain and you can't teleport outside of that. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to set myself up in such a way that if you're going first, enemy Cruel Boys player, that you're not even going to be able to do it on turn 1. Right? It's like, okay, like, look at me. I'm set up in such a way that you can't really, like, get me. Right? It's like, oh, all I did was zone out my backline, which is not a very difficult thing to do, right? So if you are the Cruel Boys player, I know that the opponent is set up here as Cruel Boys, but if you're looking at this on the other field, at the other side of the table, and your opponent knows that they can just zone you out of off of terrain, where are you gonna put your guy? What are you gonna do? You have to be wholly within 3 of a terrain. Like, how does this help you? I'm not even really like, oh no, you have to move towards me. That's not that helpful. It's just not that helpful. The only time I think that it's gonna be at its best is if you're using the Gnash Tooth, because the Gnash Tooth has that ability to, you know, like jump into your backline anywhere wholly within 6 of the battlefield edge. So he can actually really get behind you in a way that, like, because like he could, for example, teleport into this back line here and be 9 inches away from everything comfortably, and then be the insult hurler and pick a unit. Let's say they didn't want to move forward, but again, it could still move here. So it depends on what your opponent wants to do with their units, right? But it's got to be within 18 inches, right? So it's, your opponent is gonna be able to zone out your insult hurler relatively easily. So I think that while this is incredibly flavorful and incredibly fun, if you're playing against someone and they're not very good at the game, or they're new to the game, or they're playing something weird and crazy, by all means play this. I think it's definitely a fun rule, but I just can't see it being impactful. I mean, think about what the alternative is. The alternative is something that just gives your units +1 attacks. And Lord help me, because like, I'm so excited to pick a Break-a-Boss and a unit of Gut Rippas and take the Break-a-Boss with, like, throw all the enhancements on him. Like, he's gonna take Egomaniac and maybe the monstrous like move in the hero phase, and I'm gonna take these Gut Rippas in this Break-a-Boss, and I'm gonna stick them both in combat with whatever thing my opponent is trying to throw at me, and I'm gonna throw Venom Encrusted Weapons on a reinforced unit of Gut Rippas, and I'm gonna throw a whole bunch of dice, and Scumdrack is gonna be in there too, and it's just gonna be a mess. I'm gonna just chew up whatever thing is in the middle. I also obviously play Ironjaws quite a bit, especially recently, and Gloomspike Gits, and I'm scared as an Ironjaws player, looking at with my Ard boys with their nice 3-up save and like maybe a 6-up ward. This looks really scary. There's a lot of mortal wounds coming my way, and even with like the -1 to hit and the Break-a-Boss getting like his extra attack, or his like the other enhancement or whatever, like I don't even know what I'm gonna pick. Sneaky in or mean in, right? Like, I'm thinking that with the nerf to all out attack, I'm kind of leaning towards mean in. I think sneak in would definitely be better if you had like a Vulture Boss. Like, you could take a Vulture Boss and throw sneaky in, and you could also throw Slippery Scumbag on him and just have like a really fast Vulture Boss. I think that would be really cool. Or you could throw like mean in and Egomaniac on a Break-a-Boss and have like a really hard hitting, really survivable Break-a-Boss charging up the middle of the battlefield with this unit of Gut Rippas, and it's like Scumdrack's there, so you're gonna be striking last, and it's like, it's so scary. Like, I think Cruel Boys I'm excited to play Cruel Boys again, like, not gonna lie. So, but yeah, I just don't think that the Insult Hurler, I just don't think it's gonna have anywhere near as much utility. And I think while it looks fun and interesting, I just can't imagine that it's going to be very powerful at all. Especially if your opponent knows what they're doing. They're like, oh, like, hands up out there, Cruel Boys players, if you've played against a smart opponent who just knows how to zone you out in their backline and you found that your teleports were relatively useless over the course of the game. Like, I think that they're, like, when you could do it in your opponent's movement phase, I think that it was super strong, but since they got rid of that, now that it's only your movement phase, I think it's nice. It offers some utility, but it's not something that I'm building around as part of the strategy. What I'm building around right now as part of the strategy is definitely going to be the Swamp Horde Bullies, Meenan, Sneakian, Scumdrek, right? Like, that's definitely what I'm building around now. It's just going to be like a Brick of Gut Rippers in the middle of the battlefield with, you know, some kind of thing going on. Probably 2 units of Reinforced Gut Rippers because, yeah, like, oh my, is it scary. This ability from Scumdrek is just crazy, right? This thing that's not loading in here, but anyway, I just wanted to share my quick thoughts on this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Join the Discord. Lots of great conversations going on there. Like, subscribe. Wow.